Today I'm so excited because I will share with you 10 tips that help me go from a super stressed, exhausted, and overwhelmed mummy to a calm, organized, and on a healthy budget mummy when I prepare for Passover as a full-time working mom with small kiddos. This is part 1 of my Passover series on how we celebrate Passover as an Orthodox Jewish family. Please subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any of our Passover videos. So let me put on a pretty tickle and let's jump into it. My first tip to reduce the stress of Passover is to decrease the spending on Passover. To do that, I will go around the house and see what I have that is unopened and kosher for Passover in my freezer and pantry so I can use these items and save money. To recognize a product that is kosher for Passover, I'm going to be looking for a P next to the kosher certification, like these products. Sometimes the kosher for Passover certification is in a written form, like on these products that state that the product is kosher for Passover for people who eat kitniot or grains, like us Sephardi Jews. Once that I know what I have, my second step is to create my Passover menu. And this is my tip number 2. I plan my menu for Passover for the Seders and the rest of the 8 days around what I have that is kosher for Passover and the recipes I will use so I know exactly what I need to buy to stay on budget. I use my recipe book where I keep all our favorite recipes. I choose the recipes I want to do. I look at their ingredient list and I write what I need on my Passover shopping list, and of course I will leave a link to my free printable Passover list in the description box below, as well as my regular shopping list. I used to choose new and elaborate recipes for Passover to dazzle our guests, but I realized that it was so stressful to do a new recipe and the end result was not always the best. So all in all, it was just another source of stress for me. So I have decided in the last years to stick to what I know and the recipes we love, and that is my tip number 3. I stick to what I'm used to bake or cook so I know everybody will enjoy the meal. I will be more relaxed and I will be able to enjoy our Passover Seder, and it is better in my opinion to have a calm mummy with a more simple but delicious meal than a fancy meal and a super stressed mummy. Once that I have my list, I will take you shopping with me for Passover. This is my local grocery store, and for Passover, they love to increase the prices to make a bigger profit. So I will show you how I save hundreds of dollars with the next few tips. As you can see, the prices for items like cranberries are 3 times the regular price when it is certified kosher for Passover. So my tip number 4 is I avoid super pricey items and replace them with more affordable one. So I will replace the cranberries with raisins and almonds. If I would take these kosher for Passover slivered almonds, they would be $6.49 for 120 grams, but I don't pay that price at all because I use my super tip number 5, which is to use the guides from kosher certification agencies like OU, MK, and COR, which tells us what item can be used on Passover with a regular kosher certification. For example, they say that natural almonds without additives or blanching are kosher for Passover with a regular kosher symbol. So when I go in the nut section, I see that I can get more than 3 times the amount of almonds and pay less than half the price compared to the price per 100 gram for the kosher for Passover almonds. I will give you more examples of products that can be used on Passover with a regular kosher certification later in the video. And of course, I will leave the link to the Passover guides in the description box below. A special item we buy on Passover as a treat are chips, and the price varies tremendously from $2 to $8 per bag, and here is where my tip number 6 comes in handy. I choose items that are delicious and perhaps not the cheapest for our children to make a positive association between Passover and how delicious everything is, instead of taking the cheapest items that are often not so tasty and will create a link between Passover and icky food. Here is my tip number 7. I do not wait just before Pesach to buy my meat. I buy it as soon as I can to have the best selection and not to be stuck with the leftovers. Because this year there will be 2 Shabbat within Passover, I will take 2 kinds of meat, some jarret as well as some lamb stew and some extra bones to make it super special. I will also take some lamb for the first Seder as well as minced meat to make my amazing meatballs and so much more. And of course I will share how I prepare all these recipes in the next videos. While my super helper is bagging everything, I also took some chicken to make schnitzel, my barbecue chicken, and I will leave the link in the description box below for all these recipes. We move to the spices aisle where my tip number 8 will come handy. This 85 gram of garlic powder is $6.99 and this 227 gram is $12.99, so a bit better in price. But the better deal will be to take this 454 grams container and save more than 50% compared to the price per 100 gram of our first container of garlic powder. Hence my tip number 8 is to look at the price per 100 grams to make sure that I have the best deal. And as a bonus tip, I always check that the spices are sealed, not to have an unpleasant surprise when I come home. My next stop will be the items I use to bake. I make everything from scratch as buying pre-made items are so expensive, and I can make everything with easy recipes at home for a fraction of the cost. Some essentials for me will be vanilla extract, vanilla sugar, chocolate chips, and for the sugar, I looked into one of my guides, and here we can use this brand of sugar and brown sugar without Kosher for Passover certification, and I will save more than 70% compared to the Kosher for Passover sugars. My next stop will be the matzah. There are so many kinds of matzah, from $2 per box to $26 per box, and the difference in price essentially comes if the matzah was machine-made or man-made. We exclusively use matzah shmura. They are the round matzah that are fully man-made. But whether you use machine-made or man-made matzah, my tip number 9 is to buy matzah in bulk to save sometimes up to 50% of your matzah bill. Our tradition is to eat matzah for all our meals, breakfast, lunch, supper, so we need to make it tasty. We take a few bottles of jams. I always look at every bottle to make sure that every one of them are kosher, because some brand, even though some bottles have a kosher certification for Passovers, in the same brand sometimes they're not even kosher like this brand. We also use this chocolate spread on our matzah as well as our filling for our cake. Are you like me? Do you like to have items that can have many uses? Let me know in the comments below. Because we are talking about breakfast, what we're going to take is coffee. I do not take the coffee that is certified for Passover. I take the other one from the list, and also some green tea that do not need kosher certification for Passover. The girls love chocolate syrup. They will use it in their hot cocoa and on our homemade ice cream. We get the canned goods, the tuna, the pickles to make pickle dip, olives that we will use to make olive dip, the Shabbat fish, and many chicken recipes. We will also take tomato paste to make our matzah pizza and much more. Then we get the oil. This is another item where I use the list, and I see that any cold pressed virgin oil can be used with regular year-long kosher certification. So instead of paying $17, I paid $6, and I will take a few bottles to use for cooking and to light our Passover and Shabbat lights. And because I'm talking about lights, I will take floaters as well as a memorial candle to be able to light between the days, as we cannot create a new light during the first days and the last days of Passover. I do not use the 26 hours one because a lot of time they do not last 24 hours. I also do not use the plastic one as well because they often melt. I finish our Passover haul with a new tube of toothpaste. We buy a new one for Passover, as well as using new toothbrushes to make sure there are no chametz or leaven product in them. We finally go to the cash, and while they are packing everything, I compared what we paid to what we would have paid if I did not use my tips, and we saved a whopping $243 for this shopping trip alone, which definitely helped me be more relaxed knowing that I will use this extra money for something else, including for my tip number 10, which is to buy fresh produce as much as possible, as they are not only delicious, but they are way cheaper than any processed form of them. In the next video, I will share with you some of my favorite recipes for Passover, and in the meantime, if you want to have some company to clean for Passover, watch these videos, and to have a head start for your recipes for Passover, watch these videos next. Thank you for being here. It means the world to me, and know that in my book, you are part of the reason why this world is a wonderful place to live in. Since you are here until the end, write in the comments more Passover prep, so I know I was not alone. And if nobody told you, know that you are loved and you are enough just the way you are. Until next time, stay safe, stay blessed, and don't forget to Frum it up.